Hey everybody, it's Emery again with Ultra Sabers, and I'm here today to give you guys a quick run through on how to download and install the software for your Diamond controller. I'm also going to go really quickly over the buttons and tabs within a Diamond controller software, but first we're going to go through downloading and installing it. So let's go ahead and get started. To do that, I would like you guys to go to the Limitless Sabers category on the Ultra Sabers website, and then within there you can go into the Diamond Sabers category, which is where I am now. And once at the Diamond Sabers category, I want you guys to scroll down to this green line of text here where it says click here to download the software for the Diamond controller, which is what we're going to do. Click here. And this is going to take you to Saber Forums, your best resource for lightsaber information and lightsaber chit chat. So once we're here at Saber Forums at the download link, we're going to do just that and download. So don't worry about this blank video here. That's going to be the video we're making now. So once you guys actually get here, this won't be blank. So let's go ahead and click download and save. So in the interest of time, I've already downloaded this file, and here it is here zipped. So what I want you guys to do is use whatever program you use to unzip, go in and extract the file. So here's the installer program here. I've already extracted. So what I'd like you guys to do is once you've extracted the program, right click on it and run it as administrator. Now, I would highly advise anytime you're installing a program or running a program that needs to read or write, you should run it as administrator. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, prior to completing the installation process, this is a very important step, guys. If you skip this step, your Diamond controller will not function properly with the software. Very important. And it is for you to please make sure you have your Diamond controller Saber turned on and plugged in before you go to the installation. So that's what I'm going to do now. Diamond controller. Turn the Saber on. Plug it in. And see at the bottom of the screen it's doing this Windows driver installation thing. Whether it's successful or it fails, it doesn't matter because the software is going to go ahead and install the proper drivers. So ignore that. But once you have it turned on and plugged in, let's go ahead and complete the installation. Next, 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 accept. And here's another warning telling you to please make sure your Diamond controller is plugged in before you start the installation, which we've done already. So let's proceed. Go ahead and click next. So the driver is not signed. We're still going to install the drivers because we want our Diamond controller to work. The drivers will be signed in the very near future here. Here is the box letting us know that the drivers were successfully installed. Now finish. Now if you guys get any type of error messages for the drivers there, just hit ignore. They pop up sometimes depending on the configuration of your machine, so just make sure you hit ignore and continue with the install. So here is the Ultra Sabers launcher. I'm going to go ahead and start this up. Run as administrator. And I'm going to unplug the Saber, plug it back in. Now, just a heads up for all my Diamond controller users. It is not abnormal for this connecting screen to take up to a minute or so based on the amount of information you have stored on your Diamond controller. So what that means is with one font, it's going to connect more quickly. Once you hit 8, 9, 10 fonts, it's going to take a little bit for it to connect. So just keep that in mind. If you see that bar taking a little bit of time, it's okay. Don't fret. It'll eventually connect, and it's all dependent on how many fonts you have uploaded onto your Saber. As you can see here, we have 10 fonts on this one, and that's how long it took. But it can also depend on the speed of your machine, and also if your machine has ever connected to that diamond controller before, because once it connects, it gets a little faster. So just keep that in mind. And also we are working on increasing the processing time for that. So any updates you see in the future, make sure you actually nab those, because we'll always be making improvements. But again, just keep in mind, if it takes a little bit for it to connect, it's based on the number of fonts you have on there and the speed of your machine. So let's go ahead really quickly, go over these tabs. I'm going to do videos on each of these more in depth, but let's just go over them really quickly. Load defaults. Here on this configuration screen, it's pretty straightforward. It's going to load the defaults for your sensitivities, just for the sensitivities. This is not for sounds and everything. It's just for the sensitivities. Board config. If you click this, it's going to take you in here. You can adjust the current for your 4 primary channels for the blade LED. You can also adjust the accent LED current to a certain point. And then here's the battery monitor. If you enable this, you can also choose which accent LED is going to do the flickering, and you can give the warning levels. When your warning level starts at 40%, critical level 20%, you can adjust those levels for the voltage on your battery. This is a battery monitor. Very cool feature. We are not going to turn this on by default for you guys. So if you get an illuminated LED, make sure you come in here and turn this on if you wanted to do that. So again, we're going to do videos on all of these. I just want to go through this quickly. Load from file and save the file. This is again just for the sensitivities. You can save your sensitivity settings as super sensitive, not very sensitive, rainy day, sunny day, and then save those configuration files and load them at any time. Read from board. What this means is, let's say we go ahead and we start playing with these bars here, and we want to know what I originally had on the board. You just hit read from board and it's going to pit it back to what is actually on the board. Write to board is going to write what you set these as to the board, and then it's going to be how your diamond controller is configured. The diagnose tool is going to be useful if you ever have any issues with your Saber. A customer service representative may ask you to run the diagnose tool and get a report from that. So this is if you have any issues and a technician or a customer service representative asks you to run the diagnose tool, that's what this is here. Effect editor and font wizard. Now, what you guys, based on how the Emerald driver works, know sounds and lighting effects as are sound and light. They are now one. As I said, they are now synchronized. So when we come into edit effects, this is where you're going to actually make adjustments for the light and sound. And we're going to go in depth over how you do that here, but just in brevity, the power LED, accent, accent, accent. So this is where you adjust the main blade, and this is where you adjust your accents, and where you create effects, which is going to be your sound and light combined. As you see where it says add sound down here. Hope you're getting excited, because it's a lot of fun to play with the Diamond controller software. So that's the effect editor, and then a font wizard. This is where we actually upload effects. You see it says power on effect, power off effect, idle effect. So where you would normally think of as idle sound is no longer a sound. It's an actual effect, because we can do both light and sound for that. So as I said, stop thinking of them as sounds, and now it's an effect because it's both the light and the sound. Very quickly, you have the load effect, clear effect, test, and edit effect. What's really, really cool is that, let's say for instance, you just want to change your idle hum. Unlike on the Obsidian soundboard and the Emerald driver where you had to change everything, you can come in here on a Diamond controller and solely change just your idle, or you just want to change your power on, you can come in here and just change this effect and then go down here and write the effects. So really cool. You can change one, you can change them all, but in the font wizard is where you're going to do all of that. So again, you have the effect editor and the font wizard. Font wizard is where you actually write this all onto the board. The effect editor is where you actually create the effects that you're going to upload through the font wizard. So again, it's 10 minutes of me babbling on about the install and the software. So I think we're going to cut this video short, guys, and do some other videos where we explain all of these features more in depth. But I hope you guys have the gist on how to get the software installed and how to start using it. So, as always, I'm super excited about this Diamond controller. It is so awesome. But as always, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. And I thank you for your time, and thank you for watching.